Good morning, good morning. I think you heard a little click at the beginning of the stream there as I turned on the mics. I'd forgotten to turn them on. I had everything ready except the power for the microphones. Back on the third floor, we're going to be seeing this scene a lot over the next couple of weeks, couple of months, few months, years, I don't know. For those of you who don't know, we're up on the third floor in the Asaksa, the Mokuhankan building in Asaksa. The camera is pointing down the street to the east. And if we looked up a bit higher, we would see the sky tree in the distance. Maybe at the end of the stream, I'll hop out there and show that to you. The printer's room is at the front, the north side of our building. We're looking down at the intersection between Dok Dori at the bottom, Demboin Dori at the top, and at the left, this is the entrance to the famous Hoppi Dori, which is one of Tokyo's most famous bar streets. And we can see a couple of the bars from here. And not active at 8 o'clock Saturday morning. But this place will be busy all day. The bars open around 10 o'clock. Lots of people drink at lunchtime. The tent on the bottom right, yes, you can see sticking out of the wall. That's the cafe. It's the coffee shop called Tenkoku. They're a little bit of a famous coffee shop. They were in an anime and a manga, I think, some years ago, before we came here, so about 12, 15 years ago. They were featured in an anime production. So there's lineups for there most days. Regular people looking for a coffee shop, and then people who know about their history in social media. Someone says, need to get you in an anime. Watch this space for further developments. The banners on the lamppost, there's two sets. At the moment, what's always on the lampposts are the pictures of the comedians. I think I saw somebody in the chat here explaining what they were. But there's also some banners on each post at the moment, and they're advertising NHK's TV show, the NHK Taiga Dorama, the main year-long drama that NHK is producing at the moment. And its theme is Staiju Zaburo, one of the old publishers of ukiyo-e. So the Adachi company is busy this year. A lot of the Adachi workers are appearing on NHK all year long this year. Shuriken, there's a story. Just hang on a minute. Well, it's relax. It's not defense mechanism for people climbing in the window. We met some people yesterday. I'll tell you the story a bit later. Whatever. So proof, Dave's a ninja. Not at all. It's, just so you know, it's actually plastic. So it's okay, don't worry. Well, I'll explain it a bit later. I gotta get going. There is paper out. Paper is coming on. Ishikawa-san's not coming today, but Rei-chan is coming and Ayumi-san is coming. I don't know what time. Probably we'll be finished our stream by the time they come, but I don't know. We'll just have to see. In the meantime, I'm going to get going. I've already been printing. I have now 50 sheets done. I started this last night. I did 40 sheets last night. I did 10 just a few minutes ago. We have 50 sheets left, and they must be done this morning before I head down to the shop. And then color printing starts tonight. I've got to do one color. After dinner, I'll be up here tonight to start the next color because the deadline now is right in front of my nose. So let's get going. I meant to ask about the audio. We have at the moment 2 microphones going. It's a stereo feed, but it may not make any sense. On my left is one mic, and on my right is another mic, but that really doesn't make any sense when you're looking from there. So if it's strange as we get working, let me know what's going on. And I'm very, very much breaking one of our fundamental rules of printing, traditional printing. This is a key block, and whenever a printer in our workshop or any other workshop is printing a key block, the rule is you leave them alone. You don't distract them, you don't talk to them, you don't interfere, you keep out of their way. whenever they're printing a key block. The rule is simple. With a key block, every single sheet has to be perfectly, and I mean perfectly registered. If you get some of them off, a little bit out, a little bit in, then all your subsequent color printing is a disaster because you never know what your base is. So this particular moment right here is critical. It's always critical, but with the key block it's even more critical. The other reason we don't disturb people printing a key block is because that block is sensitive to changes in moisture. If somebody comes in the door now and I sit here and talk to them about some computer problem, blah, 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 during that 2 minutes, this block will dry out to some extent, and the next print I'll have trouble getting the same moisture level. Here's what we're doing here today. Someone's asking paste on the brush. Each impression, there's pigment here already. I'll put a little bit on. We're going to be dabbing here. There is a tiny bit of water here, and there is a tiny bit of paste here. But what I do is I look at each one that I've done and decide what to do next. It's quite possible I could do 1 or 2 or 3 impressions without recharging the brush. So don't get panicky if I miss putting paste on for any given one impression. It means the brush has enough. And I'm going to absolutely miss a whole bunch of the chat here, so I'm sorry. I've got to keep my head down. I've got to keep moving. I will try and catch it. So if there's important questions, they're just going to have to maybe come in caps or repeat them. The image is, of course, the flooded city. Let's take a quick second. For those of you who don't know what's going on, this is our sample. It's the 3rd print in this year's series, Dreams of Future Past. The paper is Murata paper, of course. All the prints we're making this year are going to be done on her paper. So I'll be going up there in a couple of weeks. I'll be going up there on Tuesday, the 25th, is it? Is that a Tuesday? I'll be going up there Monday, Tuesday to visit Iwano-san and visit Murata-san. She's busy with the next batch of our paper. You know, the 20 kilograms of fiber that we sent up there. She's still chewing through it, making paper. The shuriken, the star. The story is, there's no deep, strange story. There's lots of visitors last few days. Friday was a very busy day in the shop. I was not actually even supposed to be there. I was supposed to be out in Ome still working, but my Ome work got done Thursday night, so I came back and I was in the shop on Friday. I was supposed to be doing this job. This key block should have been printed Friday, and I should now be printing a color block. But, you know, it didn't happen. And among the group of people that came in was a German family from Hamburg. A couple and two young boys. And we had a good time. They themselves hadn't known about our work. They were coming because a friend had said, "You got to go and see Dave." So they came to see Dave. And it was good fun. We chatted a lot. And the two young boys, what were they, maybe, I don't know, 10 years old, 12 years old? I'm not quite sure. It's hard to tell how old people are sometimes. Whatever, the two young boys. I chatted with them too. It turned out they could speak English. They'd been doing their schoolwork much better than I did when I was a kid. When I was 10 years old, I couldn't have a conversation in my second language, French, back then. But these young boys are doing fine. So I chatted with him, what's going on in Japan? What have you done? What have you done? And one of the young boys, his name was Frederick. This is not doxing, just his young person's name is Frederick. And he pulled this out of his pocket and showed me he'd been to one of the ninja, you know, demonstration things and done this and done that and done this. So it's cool. He seemed he'd enjoyed himself. And so the conversation went round, you know, what kind of food they've been eating and stuff like this. When visitors are here, I'm not at all interested in talking about myself and the printmaking. You know, I know me, I know who I am, I know what I'm going on, I know the videos. So the only chance for me to make these things interesting is to hear from these people how they are enjoying Japan, what have they done. These two young boys, their parents want to see museums or something, the young boys want to see different stuff. So it's a chance for me to get a bit of a different, you know, talk to some different people. So we had a nice time chatting with each other. And they got ready to leave, and the young boy, Frederick, and his brother is Julius, Frederick pulled this out of his pocket, and he passed it over. Here, you can have this. And I'm like, Frederick, no way, you've been to the Ninja Experience. This is your souvenir from Japan. Go and show your buddies back at school. It's great stuff. And he says, no, really, I want you to have it. This young boy speaking in English, nice English. And I'm like, well, I said, no, it's your souvenir, please, it's okay, you know. My God, the cred you're going to get from your friends with this. And he was adamant, he wouldn't say no. Now, I'm not sure about the cultural thing, how this plays out in a different culture, but here in Japan, when someone gives you something at all, of course, your first reaction is, oh, no, it's okay, I'm all right, thank you. Then they push, do you want a drink, or whatever's going on? No, I'm okay, thank you. And they keep pushing, and eventually you have to say yes, because it's just sort of, no, go away, I don't want that thing, it's awful. So I, at some point after this, Jeff Frederick, thank you very much, but make sure, do I get your names? And they wrote their two names on this. So he's going back to Germany without the souvenir, and I've got the souvenir. He did say one thing though, and his dad was talking about this, you know, actually it might be trouble getting this on the airplane. So maybe he is minimizing his travel problems by giving this to me so that he doesn't have any problem getting on the airplane. It's plastic. It's not a deadly weapon. But maybe, you know, you don't want to be seeing this when your baggage goes through the scanner. You don't want something like this showing up. So maybe they were planning on tossing it out before they got on the airplane to go home. I don't know. I'm not being cynical or sarcastic at all. But, very friendly people. Very nice young man. It's too bad I didn't get a chance to chat more with them, you know, find out about their experiences in Japan and the kind of food they had and stuff like this. And I admire, I said about 10 or 12, I don't know the age, but I could not have done, when I was his age, I could not have done what he did. Had a conversation with this strange dude in a second language. Back when I was his age, I was paralyzed. You couldn't talk to adults. Well, part of it too was the culture. We were told, guests come for dinner, whatever, shut up. You don't join adult conversations. That was the rule in the culture that I grew up in, post-war Britain. Kids didn't join adult conversations. It was shut up. You're seen, what's the expression? You were seen but not heard. And man, I regret that now. My parents weren't bad people or evil people. That was just their culture. And as a result, it took a long time for me before I was able to relax with people, talk to people. So now, whenever I get an opportunity like this, the parents were there. I could just as easily have talked to the parents, ignored the kids. They're just kids. Oh, how are you? No, I try to engage with people like this, remembering what it was like for me. These boys were totally capable of you ask an adult question, they're totally capable of responding. So I sort of feel now a little bit, that's a bit overthinking, I feel a bit of an obligation to engage kids like this rather than just talk over their heads to their parents. There was a fun one in the same vein. There was a fun one a couple of weeks ago. A couple was here from France. No, he's French, they live in Singapore, so it's a bicultural couple with a young boy. And the young boy is maybe, I don't know, 5 or something, but he came in and he's sort of eager beaver and his eyes are bright and whatever. And we were having a problem with something in the shop. Was it the barcode reader? No, I can't remember. Something in the shop wasn't working properly, something one of the women were trying to do. The boy comes in, I'm chatting with his father, and we gave this thing to the boy. Here, can you figure this out, how to do this? What was it? I'm supposed to print here with no breaks. So we gave this thing to the young boy to try and figure it out. And I don't remember. I wonder if Sadako's on the chat here. Does she remember? Because I think she was there. It was a weekend. Again, for those of you joining, this is the key block for the March print. We're already shipping this print, of course. We print them in 2 batches. Chiharu-san, Kawaii Chiharu-san, our top printer, one of our top printers, has already done 200 copies, and they were shipped on the 1st of the month and the 11th of the month. Well, the billing is done 1st and 11th, and the people after they pay for their invoice, the shipping gets done. This is the group, the one I'm doing now, this is the group that will be shipped on or shortly after the 21st of the month. This is my deadline. It's now the 15th. I need 180 copies of this print by the 21st of the month. And it's actually not going to be possible. I have 100 sheets in the package now. And they will be finished by sometime. And I will then start another 80 copies or so. So the print you're seeing now, that me printing, this will be shipped. It's scheduled to be shipped to collectors on the 21st. So if you're in the 21st group, you're going to not, unfortunately, the bad news is you were scheduled to get a Kubota print. And instead, the bad news, you're going to get mine. And that's bad news, because his would have been better. I'm okay at this. I'm not a turkey. But his would have been better. I'm sorry if I'm missing questions or whatever. I'm sorry. There's just a limit to how what I can do. Who's printing April's sub? The first group right now, it's also being printed by Chiharu-san. And this may be the pattern going through the year or going through the next few months. We get the blocks in time, they go out to Chiharu-san. We can't ask her to print all 350. A couple of reasons. They don't get back in time. It would take over months to do that. And it's too much wear and tear on the blocks to print them all at once on wet blocks. So right now she's doing the April print, the first 200 or so copies. And after I've done this one, I will then pick up from her. I will do the second group, or the 21st group of the April print. It's going to be that pattern through the year. When was the last time I printed regularly? I have no idea. No idea. Literally, I just don't remember. I'm sorry. My own subscription series, The Arts of Japan, the one that's in abeyance, the last printing I did on that would have been in the summer of 2012. So since then, since 2012, I've just been doing fill-in jobs. I printed rickshaw card. I printed a bunch of the very first batch of rickshaw card. I printed 50 of them. I made a video. It's on our YouTube channel. I was the first Ukiyo-e Heroes printer. Of course, there was nobody else here who could do that. I'm not sure. During the earliest years of Ukiyo-e Heroes, yes, I would have done rickshaw card. I think I did a batch of the link print. I don't remember. It's all in the books, but I don't remember. And once Asakusa hit, that was it. Boom, 2014, that's it. Dave's tools just disappeared. Okay, I believe that's the first 10. We have 50 sheets left in the pack today. That's 10. There are 40 left. I doubt I'm going to get through them all before the end of the stream. Of course I won't. We have a show and tell. I've got a big package here. I've got a small package of letter. I've got four things. Oh, one thing I do have to ask. I received a package here by DHL from Germany, and it's from a person we know, a regular customer of ours, subscriber, and I guess perhaps on these Twitch streams. Can I open? I'm not going to do it right now, but at the end of the stream, if you recognize this box, sir, if you're here today, is it okay to open this on stream? I don't quite know what it is. It's not a print, so I don't know. So if you're here today, you know who you are, please let me know. Is it okay, or is it something private that we shouldn't do? It's also true, it's been opened. It says, opened for customs inspection and repacked by Japan Post. Hopefully it's not fragile. How many prints do we get from a block before it wears out? There's no single number for that at all. The blocks are already wearing. She's done 200 copies, and I can see that this block has been printed a bunch. So the block does have visible wear. Absolutely. I can see that I'm not the first person on this, and that a couple of hundred or so have been printed. I can see that. The edges are a little bit rounded already. How many do we get before we have to pass it off? The maximum that we know so far is we've done over 3,000 copies, well over 3,000, of our version of the Great Wave. We've also had block sets that have packed it up. Some of the color blocks disappear after 100 copies or so. And actually this block set, I don't know how much I can talk about this until we do the colors Monday next week. 2 of the blocks in this block set are going to have to be recarved. The light blue block absolutely is going to have to be recarved, because when it starts to show wear after about 200 copies or maybe 300 copies, it will start to show white lines. Whatever, I can't, we'll talk about it when we get there, because I can't explain it without showing you. So the blue block will need to be recarved very, very soon, the light blue block. Again, for those of you just joining, it's the key block to this design. After another dozen colors or so, about 10 colors I think, I don't know, this will be transformed into this. We're lucky today in that it's a Saturday and the construction across the street seems not to be happening on the weekends. They stream in a couple of days. Monday I will be here doing this same continuing job, but the work on the hotel across the street, 8 o'clock is usually the normal starting time. So next week's stream on Monday, we could have a problem with noise. We'll see. Nothing I can do about it if that's what happens. And if it is really extremely noisy across there, maybe just simply whatever, I'll just keep printing and turn off the microphone, the outside camera for sure. Just have to play it by ear. Play it by ear. I had fun on Thursday, the stream, playing that music from the 1970s. That was fun. Excuse me. That was good fun on Thursday. We should have a theme music for this stream. I think somebody said that in the when we were doing that. That should become the theme music. I don't think so. I don't think I want to be so totally identified with 1970s funk music. It was fun, but that's not quite my identity. So there are noise bylaws, and the idea is 8 till 8. 8 in the morning till 8 in the evening. If you're doing construction and stuff, unless there's a special project like a subway station being built, they have to do 24 hours a day. A normal construction, they're limited. You can't go past 8 in the evening, and you shouldn't start before 8 in the morning. That's the general bylaw type rule. So, but this is a Saturday today, so there's nothing happening over there. But Monday's a different story. We'll see. It's quite possible on Monday we will have hammering. They're taking tile off the front, so they're hammering, drilling the tile. Someone's saying, did Hokusai printers use a spoon? No, of course not. Because back in those days, back in the ukiyo-e era, back in the Edo era, none of the prints had margins. Nobody was putting stuff in a frame. Nobody would ever have thought that the design needed white space around it. So none, and I mean none of the old prints had any kind of a margin. They printed right, I don't have something I can stop and show you, but they printed right to the edge. The design would fit right into that corner. And most of the old prints, the bottom right hand corner of the thing, whether it's a beauty in the Yoshiwara or a view of the Tokaido or whatever it was, the bottom right hand corner is smudged and distorted because the bottom of the picture, if it was a landscape, it would be, grass at the bottom or water or something, and that would be jammed into the corner. If you go to ukiyo-e.org or something and just pick up a bunch of random pictures of older ukiyo-e prints, you will see this. Modern reproductions are made on a larger paper and having a separate white border, but the old prints never, ever, ever had that. Unless they were book pages. Book pages did have a border around the picture. But single sheet prints, no. They would have thought it was a stunning waste of washi paper, of course. If you remind me about that same question or something sometime in the future when I'm not sitting at the printing bench, if I'm downstairs at my carving bench, whatever, we can tee up some examples and show you, but I don't have anything at hand here to be able to show you this. How's the time? 8:35. Oh, we're cooking with gas. My God. If I keep my head down, Might I even get this finished? What's left? 10, 20, 30? We might finish this thing. Then what would I do? My God, how would we fill the time? Keep your head down, and this is one of the most productive jobs on the planet. You know the formula. Step 1, bum on chair. Step 2, pick up tool. Step 3, head down. The first one is the most difficult one. This was all supposed to be done yesterday, but that first step, bum on chair, didn't happen. That's the most difficult step. Tell me about it. Someone's asking about that little boy who I asked to fix something. I am trying to remember. I'm sitting here talking to you, doing this work, and at the back of my mind, I'm trying to remember what was the game we played with that little boy, giving him something to fix. That he sort of fixed, sort of. He was happy. I'm trying to remember what it was. Actually, his dad watches the stream sometimes, so it's possible he could pop in and answer. We've got our book. Chiharu-san has finished the print, so we've got our book of color samples already. Check the depth of that. And people are asking about the registration marks. They're here. There's one mark there and another mark there. You can see it. The paper fits in there, and we don't want this to get messy. You can see. The color samples, there's nothing. They're just done on copy paper. They're not done on washi. We're a bit careless. Well, that's not just careless. I mean, we can step through this. This is the first. They're left behind by the first printer who did it, and she's left some notes about this. Here, hakkiri deru yoni. Make sure you get the front of the train because it's an important area. It's a bit easy to miss it. And then she's got the colors, and she's made little notes on what materials, what pigments she used. This block will have to be recarved. This is actually, it's a kind of a disaster. We'll have to recarve this. Green, purple. This one also part of it, and I might be doing this on Monday. This part of the block, Chiharu-san, our first printer, she Tachito, remember when we made the girl in the bath? I carved the block and I was very, very careless. I looked at the piece of wood and it had some hard streaks in it, and I thought, oh, it's okay, we can make that happen. And it turned out I couldn't make it happen. The first 100 copies, the first 200 copies were okay, but as the block got older and softer, the surrounding areas get softer and the hard part doesn't change. And we had real trouble with white streaks coming in the water. So I had to carve a new block for that. I was careless when I chose the wood. Same thing has happened here. Up in this area here, there's an extremely hard spot in the wood. And Chiharu-san was fighting with it, and she got through it by putting some titanium white into the pigment, and that helps get the smoothness here. But now, after 200 copies, the wood is getting softer and softer, and now we did a test printing with Ishikawa-san the other day, and there's a huge white streak. So we'll have to we can either recarve the whole block, but I'm thinking, because this is separate, I will chew this out and I will put in an inlay here to take away that hard part. So that will need some work also. The tower gets two impressions, the base color for the whole tower. This is the deepest water, and unfortunately it doesn't cover that area where we had a problem with showing white. If this had been covered by a subsequent block, it would be okay, but it's not. And then the tower, base of the tower underwater gets a separate impression, and then there's purple to deepen the thing. So all those things added together give you this. And it's this area here that has that huge white streak. Chiharu-san got through it, but there's no way Ishikawa-san could do it, and there's no way I can do it. The block, as the blocks get older and older, the streak gets stronger and stronger and stronger. So there's our print. And I've got a deadline. The 21st is my deadline to get these things done. I'm very happy with the design. The design this year is going to be so much fun. If somebody happened to the printer, could anybody else pick up the work? Any of us here could do this. No, this is not the work of a master printer here. Any of us, Ishikawa-san, Dei-chan, Aimi-san, they can all do this work. This is just normal level for Mokuhankan. This is not, I mean, Kubota-san was going to do it, but any of us can do this here. Someone says, I thought this was really new. It's brand new, but 200 copies. We've already taken 200 copies of this. There are people out there who will say, what about prints? You can't do more than a few. We can print 200 copies, but the wood changes. Absolutely, it changes. Now, it's difficult now because this block, because it was getting dry, I put that cloth on to moisten it, but now it might be a tad too wet. I think we can do this. Have I got my paper ready? No, the next 10. So what have we got? 30 sheets left. 10, 20, 30. Yeah, we're okay. 30 sheets left. The spoon, the spoon. How many times can we answer the same question? Hey, it's okay. Thanks for everybody's patience on this. What's with the spoon? What's with the shuriken? These days, I don't listen to music. You know, back in the old days when I was just a printer working by myself over in Ome, yes, I listened to music all the time. Here, there's no chance to do that. I'm disrupted and interrupted all day long. And I myself don't want to use music as BGM. When I was printing by myself in a peaceful environment, I listened to music. I would tee up a piece of music I wanted to listen to, and while peacefully working would, listen to it. But here in my environment here now, it's a bit unusual what you're seeing here. Now, nobody's talked to me. I've been here by myself for an hour, but that's not the way it goes during the day. Absolutely not. I don't get 5 minutes to myself. Like, that's no exaggeration. Today, after this is done, I will be down in the shop. I'll be down in the shop for 2 days. Saturday and Sunday, I'll be helping the people in the shop, dealing with fans, helping unpack prints. We've had tons of prints. I've bought literally hundreds and hundreds of prints the last few days. And they've got to be unpacked and got ready because we're trying to get ready for the spring rush. And I was late to the party. I should have done a lot more purchasing during February. I thought we had enough prints, but the prints that we bought in February and made in February in getting ready for the spring rush are all gone already. January and February were so busy for us, they ate up the backlog of prints, the stock of prints that we prepared for the spring. So now the people in the shop, they're desperate. So I bought hundreds of prints last night, the night before. I've overrun my bank limit now, a couple of days in a row. I tried to make an online payment for some stuff last night that we had bought from a dealer, and the bank wouldn't allow it. I was over my limit for bank transfers yesterday. And I tried it again this morning, and the bank still wouldn't allow it. So it probably has to wait for the next business day. That's my nighttime job. I buy prints. Try to find good stuff. By day, mild-mannered printer. By night, evil predator looking for Some says the street camera is so peaceful. This is because it's a bit of a strange district. We are in an entertainment nightlife district, and it's still, what time is it? It's just about 9 o'clock in the morning. So if this camera was looking over some different district in Japan, the business district, the streets would be full of people running back and forth, trying to get to work and stuff like that. Because this is an entertainment district, it's a bit distorted. Nobody's hanging around outside the bars at 9 o'clock in the morning. So yes, it's a bit distorted in that sense. If we had this camera out here 12 hours from now at 9 o'clock in the evening, it's a very, very, very different story. We have 3 cups under there. We have the water cup, the paste cup with just a faint touch of paste, and the pigment. I guess you can see the pigment, it's here. I'm putting pigment onto a tile. And a little bit of water by hand onto the brush so I can easily gauge how much I'm doing. Actually, I can hear also too outside. I can hear the audio now from the ninja across the street. They've turned on their publicity. They've got a computer and a display panel outside advertising Shuriken Taiken. And there's the vacuum cleaner from the hotel across the street we can now hear. They are indeed still doing the tile work, although this morning it seems not. They're not working on the weekends, it seems. The scaffolding is in place, covering the front of the hotel. 8:53. Oh, I took a break there because I was thinking we had enough time. We actually don't. We've got 24 copies left. I know Kubota-san's toolboxes, of course, are in Ome waiting to be inspected over the next few months and years and whatever. And I'm looking forward, somewhere in Kubota-san's boxes are the little tools that he uses. He doesn't use a spoon like this. He uses little plastic flaps that he flicks down, brushes, and flicks up. Or flicks up. He'll flick up a plastic thing, do the inking, then flick the plastic thing out of the way. He's a little bit more efficient than I am with this. Everything Kubota-san did, of course, is aimed at efficiency, taking less time to print something. So at some point during the investigation of Kubota-san's tools, we will come across his little corner protector system. I can maybe also mention that again. I know those of you who entered comments for us on Kubota-san's page, I haven't heard back from the man himself yet. I'm sorry, and I mentioned we probably won't be hearing back from him. His daughter has passed on the information to him, and I'm still not sure at what level of ability he is to understand and reply to this. For those of you who did put commentary on the Kubota-san page, thank you very much for doing that. Even if the man himself didn't or doesn't or won't get a chance to fully understand it, I don't know how far along he is, the page will be living there, so your comments will be understood and accepted. I'm sorry not to have more, solid information from you on that, but I will, whatever I hear, I will of course report back to you. So. What's this? There's no forks in Japan. What? What? What have you been reading? Japan, bizarre, mystical. You're being silly. Okay, okay, all right, all right. What's our time? 9 o'clock. Okay, there's 20 sheets left here. We have a show and tell. I think we are looking good. We are looking good. Everybody uses a fork to eat rice. When you get rice, they serve it to you with a fork. When you get gohan, they serve it to you with chopsticks, of course. We've talked about this on the stream before, the difference between rice and gohan. And in fact, here in Asakusa, there's lots of restaurants because there's lots of retro 1960s yoshoku type restaurants that will serve a plate, a flat plate, on which is a bed of raisu. And it's spelled on the menu raisu. And they will give you a fork with which to eat it. If you were in a restaurant that's serving Japanese food, washoku, that white grainy food comes in a bowl and it's called gohan. And you eat it, of course, with chopsticks. You know the food called kare rice. It's on a flat, it's not in a bowl, it's on a flat plate. It has a bed of rice, and next to it there's some kind of curry. Or maybe there's an omelette and it's called omu rice. And you eat that also with a fork. Every kid has grown up eating omu rice at least once a week. It goes in every school kyushoku lunchtime. Omu rice. It is funny, you know, for us as Westerners to come across some of these things where there's different nouns for things in Japan than we have where we came from. For example, one of the ones I learned, of course, way back at the beginning when you're dealing with the Japanese language and dealing with Japan, is that in English we have a noun, water. And the water usually will come with an adjective. It might be cold water, or it could be water, or it could be hot water. The Japanese doesn't work like that. There is a noun, mizu, and if you see the stuff flowing by out there in the river, you will say, yes, there it is. Look at that, a river full of mizu, water. Then you get back to your ryokan, the place where you're staying, and you get your towel and you go down to the room where you're going to wash yourself, and there's a tub full of hot liquid. That is not hot water. It has its own noun. Oyu. Mizu, meaning cold water, and oyu, meaning what we would say hot water, are two different substances in the Japanese language. The same thing that I mentioned before. On a flat plate, that white grainy food is called rice. And in a bowl, it's transformed and it's a different object. It's now called gohan. I'm trying to think of some examples the other way around. In English, is there something in English where we would use a different noun for an object in a different state where some other language would keep a single noun? I don't know. You can't easily think about this backwards. I think that maybe the classic example is snow. This is a urban myth, whatever. The Canadians have 99 words for snow. So they tell me. I'm a Canadian and I actually don't know them, but whatever. So maybe it's something on the order of that. Maybe the people who live up in northern Canada do indeed have a lot of words for that white stuff that falls out of the sky, which for the rest of us is simply snow. I guess it's like that. Every language and every culture must have these things. There is the classic example. I think we've talked about this before, that in English language we have all these different words for different kinds of food depending on what class level you were. You know, we have the word cow or beef or pig and pork and stuff like this. And the animal name comes from the old English, Saxon, whatever it was, and the food name comes from the French, Norman words that were imported. So pig is an English word, but pork comes from a French derivation. We've got that stuff. That's a classical one in the case of English. The difference between the animal itself and the food, and it's English versus French, Norman French. And when you were teaching English, you know, the first years in Japan, I was teaching casual English to conversational people. And when you would bring up a topic like this, they were really, really interested. They'd just drop everything. Tell me more, tell me more. And I'm sitting there trying to think of examples. Okay, a pig and pork, and Dave's trying to go through his memory, trying to think of examples of all this stuff. Chicken and chicken. So, what was it? It was cow and beef. Beef is from the French word, obviously. I don't know what. I can't remember. Mutton must be a French word, I guess. Someone says, you know, I've spoken French and English most of my life, never made that connection. What? This is a well-known story about the development of English when the Norman conquest. So the upper class, the government and rich people, whatever, were speaking Norman French, and the serfs, the slaves in the kitchen, were speaking Saxon English. Here's a pig, but out on the table, this now becomes pork, whatever the French pronunciation was. There's a dozen examples. It's all of the animals. Mutton, pork, beef, veal, I forget them all. It's, oh, I hear sounds. Oh, I think this must be, it's Saturday 9 o'clock. I think Sadako is coming up the stairs. Or it could be Rei-chan for printing or Aimi-san for printing. But given the timetable, 9:09, I think we have a drop in from Sadako. Yes, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. How was your train trip today? Comfortable? Did you listen to the stream on the train or not?
A little bit. It wasn't so comfortable to watch in my small monitor.
Ah, soka. There's no chat, you mean? Yeah. She's putting lunch in the fridge. Yogurt, kana, sandwiches, kana. Thank you.
Secret.
Secret. Come and say hello. Here's the camera here. Here she is. I'm going to keep printing. Excuse me. But hey. They saw you Thursday afternoon, Thursday morning on the stream. Same thing. You're becoming a regular part of the stream. I noticed when I saw the chat after Thursday, after you had left, people said nice things about your voice.
Thank you. Not better than your hair.
What's that all about?
People often comment about your hair.
Oh, my nice hair. I mean, my nice hair. I thought because I've got my head, I'm bending over this time. So all people can see is my disappearing hair. So, nanda.
Okay, so see you soon.
Okay, see you soon downstairs. Yeah, I'm almost finished. I'm on about 14 sheets left.
Don't hurry at all.
Yeah, well, no, I'm going to go to 9:30. So, yeah. She's fun. We've been hanging out now for 31 years, I guess. I don't know. 31 years. I met her in 1994. My kid's mother had left our family in 1991, so it's about 3 years later, after I had become single. I met Sadako, and her children's father, her previous partner, had in a car accident. So about the same thing. We met each other about 3 years after we had been. She was widowed and I was divorced, and that was 31 years ago. My God, 31 years hanging around with the same person. In 31 years, what is the most pointless argument we've had? I remember, because I'll never forget it. We don't fight. I mean, we don't live together. We just see each other a lot. We hang around together. We go on trips together. But not living together makes things a lot easier, of course, of course. But we had an argument. It was about Swedish visitors. It doesn't matter. We don't need to go there. It doesn't matter. We don't need to go there. We don't argue much at all. I'm not that type. She's not that type. We enjoy the time we spend together. And if things maybe don't feel like they're going quite so lovey-dovey, then we're not stuck together all the time. I go home, she goes home. Also, we're older, more mature than a couple who is in their 20s or something. It's much more emotional, you know. For us, it's polite, spending time with someone you like, you know. I mean, we're in our 70s, for God's sake, you know. When you get to your 70s, there's no time for fighting and screaming at each other. Oh my God, I can't imagine such a thing. Right? She's not always super happy about something I did, and maybe they'll be around, but it's just not worth the hassle. Any couple bickering at each other in their 70s, they got to have their heads examined, I think. Where are we left? What's left? What's left? I only see 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's supposed to be 10 in each group. What have I done? You've distracted me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's a sheet of paper missing. Don't nobody leave this room. Oh, there it is. It's up at the back of the hidden. Okay. There can't be one sheet missing. Yeah, that block is a little bit dry now because I spent that extra time fooling around looking for that sheet of paper. It changes that quickly. Okay, 10 sheets left, 13 minutes left, and we have a little show and tell I want to do. Stress. We might go a couple of minutes over. somebody's latched onto that thing I mentioned about the Swedes. I'm like, that's something one day. I can't start it now. It wouldn't be appropriate for right now. We're busy right now. But the story there, the episode that happened about when Sadako and I had a disagreement, when she got really upset at me, there is an interesting story to tell there, one that doesn't look badly at her. It's a story about how I misunderstood something important about Japanese culture. Again, it's too complicated a story to start now. We just have a few minutes left in our stream. But if you remind me about it, if one of the mods or something could remind me about it, the story itself is at its core really quite interesting, and it doesn't reflect badly on Sadako at all. So it's a story that we could tell. From her reaction that day, she was really, really upset with me. I learned some very interesting things about one aspect of Japanese culture. So yeah, poke me in the future, and we can play with that story, because it's really interesting, and it would be valuable for somebody else who is learning and trying to integrate with Japanese culture. It's not a story that reflects badly on anybody, except Dave had a bit of a lack of forethought, that's all. Partly due to my inexperience of this culture, partly due to maybe I was just being a dumb klutz. So it's okay. The only person hurt in the telling of that story will be me. And that doesn't bother me at all, so it's okay. Now you're talking about cliffhangers. I'm just trying to... I can't win. Even when I win, I can't win, you know. John's got it. I just want to get through this print stack without screwing them up. And I know from bitter experience, when you get near the bottom of a pile like this, and you've got to get going and somebody's waiting for you and you're a little bit rushed for time, and you're near the bottom of the pile, this is when things go wrong. And believe me, I know. I'm not supposed to do it like this. Hungry too. Ooh. What's that? 6 left? 9:23. We are going to run over. I got to open that box, that DHL box. Did we hear from the person who sent it? The person in Germany? That DHL box came from Germany. Did we hear? Is it okay to do it on the stream? I think the default answer to that is yes these days, but I'm really not sure. The street is getting busier. You can see, you know, you were saying earlier how dead to the world this place was at that time of the morning. You can see those bars all getting ready to open up. The bar on the court may already be in business. I don't know. They're setting up their tables outside. What time is it now? It's coming 9:30. I think they're officially open by 10. I don't know about laws for opening the bars. But it is the weekend. It's a nice spring weekend. The district will be today extremely busy and crowded. Not just tourists, Japanese people. Far and away, most people visiting Asakusa are Japanese people these days. That bar will be jammed. Once they get up and running and start seating people, that bar will be jammed right through till about 10 o'clock tonight. They just turn them over. There's huge churn. Sit down, grab a beer, get some stuff. If you don't want another beer, get out of the way for the next person. All the way up the street there. There's enough seating up there for thousands of people. The money that must change hands in Asakusa on a typical weekend day, my God. Mokuhankan gets our little piece of it, but those bars, oy, 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 oy. It's number 7. There's 3 sheets left in there. How's our time? 9:27. We're okay. We're finishing just about exactly on time. Very good, very good, very good. I will be back at this bench after dinner. I will be printing the first color on this. We usually, ideally, we would wait a day. We would print the key block on the first day of printing. The first day is paper wet. Then the next day, when the paper moisture is smooth and ready to go, you print the key block. And you normally don't move ahead with the color block straight ahead. You let the paper sit and rest and relax, and the black pigment smooths out and gets itself stable. So it's the first day paper moistening, second day key block, and from the third day you now begin your colors. And you can stack them up and run along quite easily. But because it's early in the morning still now, because the paper is still a bit fairly dry, I'm going to come back tonight and start the first color. That will be enough time. It'll be 12 hours. It'll be 10 hours. It'll be enough. It's been a peaceful morning's work here today. It's good. Thank you. I apologize if I missed a lot of questions and stuff. Can't be helped. It looks like the mods have done their job very well, picking up and answering. 2 sheets left here. Well, I fixed the color blocks for this print run. Yes, one of them has to be fixed before we can continue. The one with the hard part. The other one, the light blue block. We'll see how it goes. If I can get through it, we will print on it is as it is, and then I'll send it out for recarving later. But it could be that light blue block. I may run into problems while we're printing. So I can't call that one just yet. We'll see. We'll know in a few days. Block with a hard spot I have to fix. Maybe that'll be Monday's work. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. It might be fun to do that on stream. I'm not sure if I can wait that long. Okay, last sheet coming up. Good. Peaceful, peaceful work. You can see how this is productive, you know. You just sit there with your head down, nice sheet, once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. Let me throw some water on this, and then let's have a look at that DHL box. I'm not going to do it, but the idea is there. Go out onto the balcony. Throw the shuriken across at the ninja people. Stick it into their door or something. You have been warned. Okay, what I will do now, we'll look at this box, but once the camera's off, I will be going through this stack here now, once more this morning, touching it up. It's a bit dry, and before I print the colors, the paper has to be a little bit more moist. So let's close off this stream. I will say hello to the people downstairs, and I will come up, and I will do a bit more work moistening the paper. Let's have a look. We've got all kinds of packages. There's another little package here. There's a letter from somebody. We'll save it. This is from Germany. I didn't hear anything about this. Let's have a look. It doesn't. I don't think it's a print. Oh, we do have a problem. I don't have a knife here. Who needs a knife when you got a ballpoint pen? Shuriken. Cut it with a shuriken. Plastic shuriken. Why didn't I think of that? I don't think it's going to work. I can't, there's no names here, right? It's from this, he can identify himself if he wants. It's from Germany, from Berlin. Chocolate eggs. It's not going to be visible, is it? Chocolate eggs. There's no way I'm going to eat one right now, and that would throw my bloodstream into it. Oh, there's a note. There's a note. Okay. Is this a print? Look at this. No, I think it's a painting. I don't think it's printed. Just a minute. Dear Mokuhankan team. I can't read this. Can you help me? Okay, I'll cover up the name in case it's a thing. Dear Mokuhankan team, Oh, Aini-san, good morning, good morning, good morning. I think it is deeply unfair. Okay. I think it is deeply unfair that only the people on the stream should get chocolate eggs. What does it say then? Only the people on the stream get chocolate eggs. Something, you do so much great work. All the best from Berlin. I can't read this. Something, you do great work. Thank you, sir, from Berlin. Thank you very much. Chocolate eggs. Even though... Okay. Even though you do much great work. Okay. Thank you, sir. You know who you are. Thank you very much. If you're here or you're going to see this on a VOD. It's Germany, so you're probably in bed now. Thank you very much. These will be shared downstairs today. Thank you very much. I guess, is this a painting? I don't think it's a print. I think it's painted. It's hard to tell. It's on a watercolor, thick watercolor paper. I'm being watched. I'm being watched. I don't think it's charcoal. I think it's wet. Okay, let's get out of here. Let's put the outside camera up and shoot. I don't think we're going to see an airplane. I'm not. Someone's got the flight tracker. I don't know. Look at this. It's getting busy. Let's move the camera. Lots of airplanes coming by during the day, but I doubt we'll catch one now. There's something else I want to show you. Let's zoom back down again. If I can do this without destroying the feed. Across to the hotel. Hotel is all, they're busy with their tile removal. That's the Cherry Blossom across the street, the bag lady's shop. She's not open yet. The ninja are getting there in the morning, but she's not ready. It's not a plum cherry. It's called a Jugatsu Zakura, an October cherry. It blossoms twice a year, in March before the regular cherries, and then again in October when nothing else is in bloom. And that's right across the street from us in front of the bag lady's shop. Okay, it is now time to sign off. Thanks very much. I'll be back here again Monday morning. See you then. 3, 2, 1, down we go.